Welcome to an edition of the Bump Boys interviews. So today, like Danny says, we have Isaiah Broner, Big Money, the Midwest best kept secret.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. So I ain't got no complaints, man. Every day is a blessing, man.
So it was definitely very fun and informative researching you and stuff like that. You know, I found articles that, went back, 4 or 5 years and stuff like that. And all of them like said things that I was spitting out, such as, like I looked at this dude and I was like, wait a minute, that he looked like Kimbo Slice and stuff like that. And I read all these articles and they're like, yo, this man's Kimbo Slice. He's like a cut up Kimbo. He hits like Mike. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was saying all these things to Dan. And I found it very interesting and very intriguing that everyone said the same thing. So something we always like to ask people is, what made you a wrestling fan and what got you into, figuring out wrestling is, the way that you want to, carry out your career?
I was like I don't remember how old I was, but I know I was like a very young kid. And my older cousin would bring like VHS tapes or whatever, DVDs or whatever of like old WrestleManias or old pay-per-views. And my first memory is watching WrestleMania 6. And it was specifically the Rockers and the Oriental Express and Jimmy Snuka and Rick Rude. And then I watched WrestleMania 10, the ladder, everybody know ladder match, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
And immediately I was like, this is what I want to do. Progressing towards high school, I kind of moved away from wrestling because I started playing football and I got like really good at football. So I didn't come back towards watching wrestling until MVP. So I saw MVP get there. And ever since, whatever, like once football didn't quite work out how I wanted it to, I had a couple people like Billy Gunn and Stokely that's just signed with AEW, kind of nudged me in the direction of giving wrestling a try. So here I am.
Definitely. And speaking of AEW, I think I read online that you had a match last night for AEW Dark. Is that correct?
Yeah, everybody just keep your eyes peeled for like a week.
This probably won't come out. This will probably come out after that episode, probably. So this probably won't drop till probably like next week. So
okay.
So you can definitely like promote the episode if you want.
Okay.
But wow, like AEW, like how is it? Let's just jump right into that. How was it? Working like in an AEW atmosphere and stuff like that. Like, what was something that you found a little bit different than working at OVW, AIW and stuff like that? What were some things that you found that were a little different than compared to some of like the other shows over there?
Number one, the fact that we ran in the actual arena, like getting there and seeing like the setup before, just seeing all of the seats to the Little Caesars Arena. Everybody was just real nice. Everybody's nice or very welcoming at the majority of the shows I do now. But just knowing on that level that, they're not a bunch of, douchebags or whatever on the level or whatever. And everybody was really welcoming. The best friends, I can't say nothing bad about them. We did what we had to do. And I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity. Just hopefully it continues to snowball into other future opportunities.
Yeah, hopefully you get another opportunity. Especially you fought a good amount of their guys already.
Yeah.
Especially you fought the guy that fought in the main event.
Yeah.
At Kingston. Oh yeah. I saw that match. That match was good.
Oh, thank you. Because I learned a lot from him in and out of the ring, man. He's a hell of a guy, man. He's like, what you see on TV that's him. Like, he's a genuine guy, and I really, really appreciate him inside and outside the ring.
But I think it's like just, I've seen you've been doing this for, was it about 6 years? 6 years?
Be 5 years in September.
Five years and something. I think just like, just looking at, the quality of matches and seeing like just the growth and stuff like that, how over the years, how impressive, people have been commenting and like, hey, this match was amazing. Their chemistry in the ring was really good. I think my favorite match was definitely the Eddie Kingston one. That was really good.
Yeah,
it was a hard hitting match. Eddie's he's a brawler. He hits hard, and I like you too, because now, I see your work and you're a brawler too. You hit hard. It's definitely it was definitely like a solid match. A lot of heavy spots and stuff like that, but it looked really great. So my question is, I also saw you worked with was it Minoru Suzuki as well?
Yeah.
What were some things that you learned working with Suzuki? He's from like, Japan. Was there any things he did a little differently that you found a little different that they do over in Japan that we may be doing differently over here in America?
Not so much, because it's oddly enough, like I think our styles are somewhat similar. The big thing I took away from it is patience. Taking my time doing stuff. When they told us like how much time we had, and I was like, oh, is it enough? But actually going out there, like even just the entrance and just absorbing the energy and just taking our time, everything I felt we did meant something. And that was the biggest thing. And he showed me that in the ring. So it's like you can do a million spots or whatever, but if don't nobody remember nothing about it, like you just went out there doing a million spots.
Yeah, what I've noticed with that one, it was like instead of doing like a lot of stuff, which I think a lot of wrestlers will try and say like, hey, this is my moment to shine. I need to showcase everything. I feel like, something I learned about that match, it was, you can do like one punch or whatever, but the quality of it is gonna beat out, whether they're doing like brain busters and all that stuff, just the quality of what effort you put in and just showing the skill of that one move was definitely something I prefer than like, just a long drawn out thing. So,
Yeah.
I think you're on the right path, man.
Less is more sometimes. So I physically, like I can do all the flips and stuff like that, but why? Like it's no like pushing 300 pounds, man. I'm not about to be out here doing that. So
you don't want to try Keith Lee stuff.
that's it. It's like I'm good.
So
dude, you got a hell of a lariat. Oh
yeah.
Thank you. Just lane and just make it mine. So I was one when people hear the word lariat, I want them to think of me.
Oh, I definitely think of it now. Just that thing hits hard, man. That thing is it reminds me of a little bit of JBL. So the question I had for you was, your style of wrestling, very strong. A lot of people use the word, Kimbo Slice, Mike Tyson. That's how they compare your hits and then your look and stuff like that. Who would you say are some wrestlers or icons or something that you kind of like base your style off of? Your personality. Who do you like draw from their past work and incorporate it and make it your own?
If you watch someone, like I take a lot from Scott Hall, like, and I say that people like I don't see it, but there's a lot in my offense that comes from Scott Hall. I've been watching like a lot of Vader. I love Vader's work. Samoa Joe.
Yep. Our other guy, Will, the third guy of our team, he had something with work. He compared you to Samoa Joe when we were like texting in the group chat. He said he saw like a little Samoa Joe in you.
That's a huge compliment. I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. Like, when I first saw him at TNA, like I was like, that's my guy. So like those three, just like as many different stuff I can take from. Try to sprinkle a little bit in there. Kurt Hennig.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, so those four mainly.
Would you so those are the four, like, would you say those are the four that are your favorite wrestlers of all time? Or would those be the ones you adapt more of your style to?
Scott Hall and Kurt Hennig, those are my two favorite all time. I mean, Samoa Joe's, of course, on the list because Samoa Joe and Vader, whatever. But I found like I've adapted my style more towards them, like over the last couple years, because like I'm more relatable to them, and I see a lot of stuff that they do that I can incorporate.
So you said, I have a question for you. You said you played football. What positions did you play to get you? I just want to, interesting.
Defensive end, outside linebacker, middle linebacker.
Yep.
That'd be scary. I hate to be a quarterback in that situation, man. Dang,
honestly, I could definitely see it with your wrestling style.
I hit people, man. So
what I guess leading into that was I know a lot of wrestlers, start off, as football players, it can get it can get very dangerous on that field and stuff like that. Was there any other wrestlers that nowadays, or I guess let me ask, my question is, how many athletes have you noticed, have you encountered that transitioned over from, sport, like team-based sports or, competing sports into professional wrestling? Have you met a lot of people that made that transition?
It's like few. I've met a few. I thought it would have been more because I would have thought the transition would have been a little smooth because it was like smooth for me. I would have thought that I would transition over there, but it's like few. Like a lot of people I've noticed background comes from, like, I've seen some come from theater, some just was just were fans, like they have no athletic background, but they perform very well. So it was definitely surprising on my end because I would have thought at least some of the people that's like really high up there on the indies like have no athletic background,
which I think is a wonder in itself. The idea that you can come from sports, you can be a world-class athlete, or you could be just someone who's like in their little gamer area, hey, I like watching wrestling, this is my passion, I'm gonna start learning it. And I feel like you get a walk of all different types of life, and they each have that one moment that brings them to like wrestling, and it's like, this is what I like, this is my calling, this is what I want to pursue. And I think that's the one thing another one thing I like about wrestling. It's just it's so integrated and it's so diverse on the backgrounds and people who just come to the entertainment of it. I think it's just one of those things I know me and Dan have been talking about recently, and it's just amazing how diverse it's been.
Yeah, definitely a lot more like diversity. Like, you got recommended to us to interview by your fellow wrestler Jack Price.
Oh, that's my guy.
yeah, because we just did an interview with him a couple weeks back, so he recommended you and Tommy Vendetta.
Oh yeah, my brother's right there.
So
I'm gonna lead into this one, Danny. So okay. I see that you also been working with OVW a good amount. I think when people hear OVW, they think of the class of 02, of course. And I know, or I guess my question is, with the class of 02, do you still feel like working with OVW, they still have like an impact on how the product is today and how things are done? Or do you feel like there's still like that, or is it something completely new, different, and it's a different style that they don't have much of a influence on the product nowadays?
I think they do got influence. Like I started going down there, I want to say, is it right before the pandemic or like right before the pandemic? And then when the pandemic hit, I pretty much was just at OVW. and I learned a lot, like character wise, and working TV, facials, and everything. Just listening to the little critiques that Al Snow and Doug Basham would give after each match. Like, they have a offer, because they got a lot of knowledge of actually making it to WWE and being that high up for a long period of time. So they give you the knowledge. They give you the chance to continue to work and grow on yourself. It's pretty much up to the person to utilize everything. And I feel like I learned and I grew in those aspects, just given the opportunity. So I wholeheartedly believe that they present opportunities for people to enhance in the game today.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say, what was it? Well, if you had to pick someone to like look at your best work, which matches do you think they should check out? If you think some of your best, if they had to look at one match.
I wrestled Mysterious Q.
Okay.
In February. I can't remember the exact date for OWA. I feel like that was my best, like my best match. It would be that, of course, Eddie Kingston, Suzuki.
Okay,
and,
so so we picked the two good ones, some of the good ones. And what was it like working with Bobby Orlando?
Oh, it was fun. Like, he's a cool dude. I didn't know what to expect initially when they announced the match, and it was like a styles clash, but everything meshed well. He's a good dude. I enjoyed myself. We had fun, and we made it work. So I was looking forward to it after like doing some tape study on him and stuff. So we put everything together and killed it.
And I also noticed that you did a little bit of tag team work in your time. You know, you're still doing tag team work. I saw. I always like to ask, you know, do you prefer singles competition or are you more of a tag team person? I know, you know, tag teams have a lot going on and stuff like that. But is there a preference that you enjoy one over the other, or is there like a certain match that you prefer over, you know, singles?
Starting out, I was just wanting to be strictly singles, like nothing that's tag team. But then I wound up doing more tag work with Jack, and then my girl Jocelyn. So those are mainly my two tag partners.
Okay.
That I get booked with like the most. Like I tag with anybody in DTA, and going forward, like I got hurt last year, and I wrestled like basically all of last year with a torn Achilles.
Oh,
the tore it twice.
Oh,
God. Actually helped because I didn't have to do so much on my own while I was trying to recover from the injury. And then I saw it as a challenge because I wanted to get better at being a tag team. So I would prefer, like, I prefer singles, but I love tag wrestling as well now. So I can go either way.
So I heard that you said that you also did, you know, you wrestle with your girlfriend as well.
Yes.
So I also saw online, people are like, hey, you know, if you think Isaiah hits hard, his girl hits even harder and stuff like that. And I was like, there's no way, man. I was like, there's no way this is possible. I was like, let me check it out. Yeah, it slaps. I'm not gonna lie. Is that something you've learned? Like at first you were a little hesitant on, you know, mixed tag matches, or is that something you've learned to, you know, appreciate over time?
I was never hesitant on it. It just had to make sense to me. Like I just see like a lot of stuff going on now. Like to me, some of it doesn't make sense, and some of it do. So as long as it makes sense to me, I'm open for business. Like she can handle herself. Like she wrestles intergender, and she, you know, I'm very comfortable being in a ring with her. We've wrestled each other a couple of times. So like, as long as it makes sense, and you know, I can trust not just her, but any other female or whatever, I'm cool with it.
And another question I had was, with GTA and stuff like that, how I know, we have Jack Price, yourself, Adam Wick, Aaron Orion and stuff like that,
Tommy Vendetta.
Yup. Christopher Saint and stuff like that. Like, who were like? Do you guys find at times, you guys are, popping up at the same show and stuff like that? Do you guys usually like communicate like, hey, I'm going to be doing a tag team match. I have my friend Jack over here, or Tommy and stuff like that. Is it almost like a club mentality, or do you guys usually just find yourself, you'll pop up since you guys are in the same area? You guys like will walk in like, oh, you're working the show tonight and stuff like that. I've always been curious about that. Like if you guys like, communicate like, hey, I'm at this show, I'm at that show. Oh, you're working at that show, things like that.
Usually just like it just depends on the promotion. Like I reach out. Usually like for a while, like in Michigan, if you reached out to one of us, like 9 times out of 10, all of us was on the show in some form or fashion. After like a couple years, like after like the pandemic or whatever, I was like, I kind of wanted to get out of wrestling in Michigan and just test out the waters. So now they're there, but they're starting to expand. Like Tommy and Jack are starting to get out there as well. So now it's like, okay, well, I'll see a couple on the show and then we'll meet somewhere else or whatever. Usually now all of us are at the same show at Mr. Chainsaw Wrestling. So that's probably the only place all of us would be at one time at the moment.
Mr. Chainsaw Wrestling, that was a place Jack had near and dear to his heart. I know he told us a little bit about his experience. I was wondering if you could tell me more about your experience. I know he had nothing but great things to say about the promotion, the promoter and stuff like that. How's your experience been about Mr. Chainsaw Wrestling?
It's been great. That's where me and Jack like primarily started tagging. The vibe in the locker room is great. They treat us well. They make sure we're okay.
That's great.
Good thing, good matches. They have a structure to what, not just that show, but going down the line of what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. So I have the things to say to them. Like I appreciate every time. That's primarily the only place I work in Michigan, and it's the reason why the way they conduct business. Yeah,
it's a quality promotion. I've heard. Jack, he had nothing but the greatest things to say about it. And he was like, out of all the places I've worked, that is the place that, he holds near and dear to his heart. If anything, he was like, they are the place, like he considers them family and stuff like that. And that's the word he used when he described it. It's not just a promotion, it's a family. It's the whole environment. It's, everyone's helping each other out and stuff like that. So I think, any promoters who are paying attention to, if you need to know a little bit more about it, definitely check them out. I've been slowly getting into it and stuff like that. I've been busy, but slowly getting into all the products and all the just the style of it and stuff like that. And it's been nothing but great. And I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of it too, since Jack recommended it. It's definitely when you start getting into it, you start getting into those independent matches, you realize, wow, how big of a world the independence is.
Yeah, man, they worth the time to check out, man. It's been nothing but good on my. I've been going there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did you end up meeting Tony Khan last night?
I think I saw him once, and I was getting ready to go out for my match, and he just happened to walk by me. But I think he was heading. I don't know where he was heading, but
probably Gorilla.
Yeah, well, I was standing right by Gorilla, getting ready to go out, and he walked by me, and that was the first and last time I saw him. So,
I just want to know if you had an interaction.
Oh no, yeah, that's about it.
So I know you guys have a pretty busy schedule and stuff like that, especially when you're working all these shows and stuff like that. There's times where you're going back to back to back and you're traveling a lot and stuff like that. How is like your daily routine, like like what's the life of Isaiah Broner? When Broner wakes up, what's your life look like on a daily basis for anyone who's like curious on like, hey, I think I could do that. What's some things that you do on your daily basis?
9 show days. I'm up when I wake up. I'm up, shower, straight to the gym. Then after that, like I'm making my meals for the rest of the day. Try to be out the gym like at a reasonable time, probably like no later than 3. If I'm not a morning person, so I'm not getting up before 11:30. So I'm out the gym at 3, and then I get back home, shower, make my food, like make my 3 or 4 meals for the rest of the day, have my protein shakes, and that's usually it. So I got like a podcast or something, or if I go down to AIW to train, that's pretty much it. Show days, I pretty much I try not to do anything. If I got to drive or something, I'm on the road till I get there. Or if I got to catch a flight, just chilling before the show.
Yeah. Nice. So I like the schedule. It's nice, relaxed. You're not a morning person. There's some people who are. I know I'm not like, I can thrive in the morning, but I prefer to be up a little later and stuff like that.
Not just later, but as far as me like actually physically doing something, it's not gonna happen.
So for your so those are like, that's like your workshops and stuff like that. Is there any on your free time, what are some things that you like to indulge in? Some hobbies, are you an enthusiast of certain things?
I'm like a movie buff, man. Like I really like gotten into like I like my mom rubbed off on me like I can draw, but I really like I would have to actually sit there and concentrate on drawing for me just to do it. Just chilling, man. Just trying to let my body recover for the most part. Like I said, like the last year and a half, like I haven't really had much downtime because I'm like rehabbing this injury, and I'm just now like probably like a couple months, probably like the match with Q. Like I feel like I'm like almost 100%. So just been rehabbing and resting, man.
So movie buff. Okay, so my question to you: favorite movie of all time?
For me, Harlem Nights.
That's a good one. That's a good pick, man.
And then there's Scarface. But
Yeah.
man, I watched pretty much any of the movies. I just got into I like a lot of comedy. Abbott Elementary. Like I binge watched that whole first season. I just think it's like extremely funny to me. So that's what I've been on, waiting for the second season of that. But
hey, for me, it's been Pulp Fiction. I think Pulp Fiction's it's just one of those cult followings, man. I can preach about that thing for days. Every time I watch that thing, something new happens. But Harlem Nights is a good one. I haven't seen it in a while. It's been, I think, 10 years since I've seen it, so I gotta definitely watch that again.
Yeah, they had a hell of a cast in that movie. Like everybody, somebody in that movie. So
Yeah,
and then,
it's pretty
and
good.
then eventually,
I've seen it.
Years go by, and you're like, yo, that's a star-studded lineup.
Yeah.
So,
but Danny, you want to go into Mount Rushmore, my friend?
Yeah. So Isaiah, what were so if you had to pick 4 people for your wrestling Mount Rushmore, excluding Vince, name 4 people.
Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Eddie Guerrero. I'm putting Scott Hall on there.
That's okay.
And I'm gonna go with The Rock.
Okay.
Ooh. Growing up, I was a Rock guy.
Okay, I'm surprised it wasn't Undertaker. I'm surprised Undertaker didn't make it.
Like probably like top 10.
Okay.
But I've like when he first debuted up until like when they did the Undertaker versus Undertaker. Like, I was a huge fan. And then I was like, eh. And then when he started having that run of WrestleMania matches, I was like, okay. Like, that's when I got back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Goldberg, and I was like,
not a fan.
Nope.
I watched it live, and I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna go to. Then he went up for that jackhammer. I was like,
yeah.
I remember watching it. I was like, there's no way. But Eddie's always that one that people put. Sometimes he sneaks his way in there, and I'm learning to appreciate Eddie and stuff like that. So is there any match that you would recommend to me? I'm slowly trying to get into Eddie Guerrero. I feel very conflicted with my relationship with Eddie Guerrero. So I've been going on this path since I've been doing this, trying to see the Eddie Guerrero. I always felt it was a little overhyped, but now I'm trying to, I don't know. After talking to people, they're like, you need to watch some more Eddie matches and stuff like that. I love his WCW work. It was amazing.
The most common one you probably heard of people tell you is, watch the Halloween Havoc one with Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's been one of my favorite matches with him by far.
I played the 2K version of that game too. I suck at that match.
He had it's three, like, and it's not even a pay-per-view. Number one, he had a ladder match with RVD. Like when he first came back, it was on Raw. Like that was like one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen. He also had a match with The Rock. I think that was on a Raw. They wrestled one time, and man, like that, he deserved to be at like top dog after that match in my eyes. That match, and then there was one with Edge. SmackDown. I think it was another ladder match. So if you find those three, like, you'll see why. Like anything he does with like Jericho or the guys he came in with, like he didn't miss to me. So like, but those three, like especially that ladder match for RVD, that really stuck out to me.
I'm about to write those down. I have to go back and watch some of those. But yeah, Halloween Havoc, I think, was probably one of his best matches of all time. I was just, oh man, just everything was done so well. So definitely gonna have to check out that Edge one. The Edge one sounds like it would be really good.
So hey Joe, you think it's a would you rather time?
Let's do it, man. You want to kick that off?
Yeah, sure. So what was the original first question? Do you remember? Was it thumbtacks or getting thrown off Hell in the Cell?
Yeah, you can start off with that one.
Okay. We'll do would you rather take thumbtacks or would you rather get thrown off Hell in the Cell?
Thumbtacks.
See, I told you, man. There's some people who be picking that Hell in a Cell, man. Oh, my back be hurting from just hearing it.
I can pick thumbtacks up. I don't know.
Now, yeah. So would you rather main event Revolution or have no one, or main event Double or Nothing, or have no one ever kick out of your finisher?
Or WrestleMania, man. You never know.
Or WrestleMania.
Main event.
Okay.
Man, you can kick out all day. I main evented one of those, so main event all day.
All right. Here's one I'll throw in there. So Jack had a really interesting answer for this one. It was something new we did with him. All right, you can have unlimited pyro, or you can have any entrance. Was it entrance music?
Yep, music. It was
any entrance music. So if you want, any song, you got the rights to do it. Or
you got the copyrights.
Do you get any promo, like as much promo as you want?
Or no pyro? You said promo.
I'm going entrance music because man, Brock Lesnar's like, I don't know why they like Brock Lesnar's give me hype, Batista's like Randy Orton. Yeah, I don't know. You can keep the pyro.
Yeah, about to say those what you said was Randy Orton, Burning My Light. I think that's by far, definitely top 3 of best entrance. And then
Dude,
that
yes.
Batista when he came out, everyone knew
the
like what time it was.
Like when he did Bray Wyatt did the Fiend, like when he remixed this theme for that, like I was like, all right, I was listening to
Sign me up.
Yeah, as soon as it hit Apple Music, I was in the gym and let's put it on repeat the whole workout.
I don't know. I feel like when you're working out, wrestling music just hits a little different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That extra that extra 2 reps or whatever ain't too bad, especially when that music hits.
Yeah. Get you going, man.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I can do this. Batista could do this. I could do this.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we had one more, didn't we, Dan?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember it. Do you remember it?
We gotta get some fresh ones, man. I be running out of things, man.
I'm trying to think. So.
Hey, skip it, man.
I
think it's because Will usually asks them, and Will's not here tonight, so we'll be getting into this one. So that's usually his segment. But we had to hijack it as much as we can. He asked us to do a couple. So overall, I thank you for your time. It's been a great time having to talk with you. I definitely learned a lot of things. A couple matches I gotta go check out for sure. But the floor is yours. Is there what's going on with Isaiah Broner? What's going on? Tell us. This is your moment, man.
This is your moment to like promote whatever promotions or championships you have right now. So,
I thank y'all for your time. First off, thanks for having me on. Check out that AEW Dark Elevation. It's up now on their YouTube. Pele Pro, TitleMatchNetwork.com. You can check it out. ICW, AIW, Absolution is July 20th. I want to say the 23rd. This is the biggest show for AIW of the year. Then we have J-Lit the next month. The J-Lit tournament. I'm trying to be everywhere. So promoters, I'm ready to work. Trying to fill some dates up. My brother's also is available. My girl's available. Jocelyn Navarro, DTA. There's too many of us. So you can contact any one of us. Yeah, man. Just thank you for your time. Follow me on social media, Isaiah Broner. That's pretty much it, man.
All right. So, that has been it from the Bump Boys. But overall, I think we can say, the Midwest's best kept secret, slowly coming out there. People finding out. Again, thank you for your time.
You might have to steal. You might have to steal Murphy's secrets out.
Yeah, I saw him, so I'm gonna have to talk to him about
it. I'm pretty sure he'll give it up easily. You hit hard, so. But that's been it, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Must bid you adieu, a goodbye, and good night. Oh my God, it's so great. Bang!